Hey guys, I'm Matt Farrell.
And I'm Kristen Rochelle, and this is Cheaper Than Therapy.
Episode number 4. Guys, man, we appreciate all the support that we've gotten so far. We appreciate all the likes and shares that we've been getting. Those have been really, really helpful to us, so we appreciate that. And the view count on some of our videos has really shot up there, so I'm really excited about that too. So if you aren't already a subscriber to our channel, please go like, share, subscribe, and help our channel continue to grow. Our YouTube channel and our Facebook page.
Yeah,
we need to get those things growing.
We'd like some more people other than the 2 Middle Eastern men that follow us.
Yeah, we've had 2 guys, both of them Middle Eastern so far, message and ask about jobs in porn. I don't know, like, we've not done anything sexual on the show. We have discussed some porn topics.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about some stuff, but we are not making porn. So I don't know where they're getting the idea that we can get them a job in porn. I don't know. If I was going to get anybody a job in porn, it would probably be myself.
Really?
And
you wouldn't give me a job in porn?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd see if I can get you on too. You know?
Well, that'd be awfully nice.
I got a buddy. Maybe you can
maybe he can
give
help
her
you
a
out.
shot too. You know. But yeah. So any guys who might be watching, we do not make porn. We do not direct porn. We have nothing to do with the porn industry. We just sometimes
occasionally
discuss porn.
Yes. Yeah.
I watch porn.
He watches porn all the time.
All the time. If I'm not watching our own Cheaper Than Therapy
He's watching
podcast, then I'm probably watching porn.
Edward Penis Hands. That's your favorite.
Yeah. You know, she's a big fan of the parody porns. Anyway, before we get started in the subjects that we kind of set for ourselves, tell me about your date last week.
Oh, the date that you told me was going to be a certain way, and I'm like, nah, it wasn't going to be that way, and it turned out to be exactly that way. Yeah.
The one that I was right about?
You were right about.
Yes.
Yeah, and he looked like Uncle Fester. Yeah.
I like to hear when I'm right.
You were right. I was texting you on the date telling you were right while the guy was sitting across from me.
I remember when you texted me, and I was like, man, this is either over really quick, or she's texting me while she's still on the date.
I'm texting you while I'm on the date, yeah.
Wow. Didn't go good.
I mean, it didn't go bad, but it didn't go great.
Where'd y'all go?
We just went to eat at a local restaurant. I don't want to give away too much. I just don't want the guy to hear me talking about him.
But that's it? Y'all just went to eat?
Yeah, we just went to eat. That's it. That's all that night was going to entail for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, because I know a lot of the other guys have been, like, taking you to bowling and dinner or, you know.
One guy even had his own bowling shoes and his own bowling ball. He was 3 years younger than me.
That's what, like, I remember saying that. Like, I feel like when a guy gets to his mid-50s, I can see him maybe being so involved in bowling that he's got his own shoes and brings his own ball and a fancy carry sack with his name on the side. But
he had all that.
I can't imagine being that young and being that dedicated to bowling.
No, I couldn't either.
So, but didn't go good. Sorry.
Yeah,
I knew that
okay.
I was right, but I was wishing for the best for you.
Well, I got to go learn my own lessons, apparently.
You gotta run into the wall yourself a few times.
I do, a bunch.
You're a
whole
hard
lot.
learner.
Yeah, it takes me a while.
So with that, we can kind of spin straight into one of the subjects that we wanted to talk about, which was relationships. And I've always kind of thought myself to have a pretty good idea on these things. I know that my wife and I have been asked to give relationship advice in the past just because we've been together so long.
Yeah, you guys have pretty much got it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, and we've been through some stuff, so I think that's where most of it comes from as far as people asking our advice, is they're like, hey, you guys have already been through this. Like, how did y'all do it? What did you do, or whatever? But then, even though I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on it, and I feel like I can give pretty good advice, and if it's something that I don't know, I'm not afraid to tell people I don't know. I also did some research too, and I watched some other things and saw how other people talked about them.
Narcissists? Is this what we're speaking of?
No. We can talk about narcissists after. Let's start off positive with relationships. Okay, and here's one of the things that I kind of came up with, after watching some other things, and I just kind of put these things together, is there are 5 places in a relationship.
Okay.
And I've heard people refer to different stages in a relationship or different I call it different places, because these, even though you're just talking about a relationship, these are places that you are at. You're there. So it's not just a phase or a stage. This is a place in your life. Okay, so when we're talking about relationships, I refer to them as, there's 5 places. The first place is going to be the romance place.
Mm-hmm. The honeymoon phase?
Well, even before honeymoon.
Before that.
We're just dating.
Okay.
And I refer to it as the romance place, because that's where everything is still very new. Mm-hmm. Our body is releasing chemicals.
Pheromones you're responding to.
Right, but those chemicals also encourage our body to only show our best side.
Right.
Anything that you would normally do negative, you suppress that.
You do.
You try to hide that from it, because it's just like when you first start dating someone, it's just like applying for a job interview. Mm-hmm. You know, so it can be, oh yeah, I would definitely be willing to take the trash out all the time and do the dishes half the time and do half the laundry.
And this is a normal automatic response for everybody but me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but that's the romance place. And you only see, you're only allowing yourself to see the good in the other person as well, because you're not looking for those negative things, or you automatically make excuses for them.
You do.
Because you're just so excited about the new place that you are, which is at that point.
And that is
just
a beautifully ignorant place to be. I'd like to be there just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
Well, and the romance place, to the best I can see, is going to, which for some people doesn't even last this long, but for the max, it's 2 years. Mm-hmm. 2 years is the max that will last. And then you start seeing things. You start letting yourself go and be a little more...
You're relaxed.
Yeah. You're relaxed, and you allow yourself to be more true to who you actually are, including the negatives.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we really start learning about the person that we're in this relationship with, and this is now called the power struggle place. Mm-hmm. Well, with the power struggle place, when you start recognizing the bad in the other person, and you start realizing that they're recognizing the bad in you, now generally one person tends to kind of pull back.
You think that it takes 2 years for that to happen?
No. Max 2 years. Max 2 years.
Because
I think for some people it's in 2 months.
Yeah, because I can like you, hate you, just be disgusted with you all in a matter of 30 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Earlier today, I felt like we were good friends, and then for a minute I didn't think you liked me anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to work on that. I'm not really a people person.
You have an RBF.
What is a resting bitch face?
Yeah, resting bitch face.
I've had it forever, too.
My wife and daughter are guilty of that as well. And it's like to the point where I'll have people come to me and go, "Hey, does your wife like me?"
Oh, I've asked that before, too.
Yeah.
Like, does Tana like me?
And she's just withdrawn. She's not a very outgoing person. She doesn't just walk up and talk to people she doesn't know very well. And she always has this look on her face of that if the world were to catch on fire, she'd be okay with that, too.
Yeah.
And my daughter, I guess, was graced with that from her mom. So she has it real bad as well. And for somebody that's younger, like my daughter, and because she even had it when she was in high school, like it caused problems among the other girls.
It does cause problems.
They're like, why are you looking at me like that? It's like, nah, it's just I was just looking. Like I didn't mean it in a negative way. So anyway, so now we're in a power struggle place, which is you start recognizing that you're showing your true colors, and you're starting to recognize the other person's true colors. And this usually causes one person to withdraw a little bit, kind of be a little more standoffish, which then makes the other person be more demanding for attention.
True, because the balance is off
right
there, yeah.
So these two people who have been just pawing over each other this whole time, however long their romance place was, now one of them's kind of a little pulled back, and the other one's afraid of losing it, so now they're more demanding and a little overbearing and over the top. So now we're kind of in that power struggle place.
can't do work right now.
I know. I
focus on the podcast.
And that's where a lot of breakups happen.
During that phase?
During that.
And that's different time links for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've heard a lot of people say, in the dating world, 6 months. 6 months, this is where I'll know who you are. And I don't know if 6 months really is an adequate place to judge.
Yeah, I know that the good Christian way is that no premarital sex, you don't move in with each other until after you've been married, and all these things. But to me, that's just a recipe for disaster.
It is a recipe for disaster.
You have to live with someone to know if you can even stand them.
You do.
Like, does this guy fart in his sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Does this girl snore too loud? There's all these things. And if you wait, and even when it comes down to the sex, if you wait until after you're married to have sex with a person for the first time, I'm not talking trash. Like, if there are people that believe in this and this is what they want to do, that's fine. This is just my view on it. If you've waited until now we're married, we are legally bound, and by church we're bound, and now we have sex for the first time, and the sex is trash, now you're stuck.
Well, if you're the kind of person that is waiting to have sex till marriage, you've not had sex with anybody, so technically you really wouldn't know if the sex was trash or not.
I hadn't thought about it like that, because I just assumed that
you would live
just
in
because you didn't have sex with that person.
Ignorant bliss there,
Yeah. Man. I feel sorry for them. They have no idea what they're missing.
They don't. They have no idea.
They never experienced stuff.
Nope. No idea what they're missing.
Man, that'd be terrible.
So there's a lot of heartache that they're in, tragedy and things that they're not having to deal with as well, being out in the world, living in that way,
Yeah. But look at all the good stuff they're missing.
I know. That's the hard part. There's some good stuff out there.
Man.
I personally haven't found it yet, but I have faith that it's out there.
So now we move into the stability place. Which the stability place is where now I realize that I can't change this person.
And am I going to accept it and just stay here?
They can't change me. I can't change them. But now I accept them for their faults. They accept me for mine. And I acknowledge my own faults.
And that takes a lot of maturity, though.
It does.
It takes a lot of maturity.
It does. And it's an extremely necessary step. You have to recognize that you are not perfect either. Obviously, you're going to see all the bad things in the other person.
Right.
Oh, she's always nagging me. She's always griping about this. She always wants to spend money on that. But there's some stuff I'm doing, too.
Yeah. And we live in this me culture right now, which is completely messes up relationships because people at this age, and I've said this before, are all damaged. And so if they're going into a second, third, fourth relationship, they've got this idea in their head, it's got to be perfect. I'm not settling. Of course, you shouldn't settle. But it gets us to where we're like, no, I'm not going to accept this. No, I'm not going to be forgiving of this. No, I'm not going to be considerate of that because I don't have to,
Yeah. I 100% I agree with you. And now that another thing about the stability place is now we've gotten past nowhere close to all the hard times, but we've made it through the gauntlet. We know what to expect from each other. So now we start creating moments for our relationship to bloom and grow and get stronger, which is important also. You always have to, because special moments don't always just happen. You have to create those.
You do. You have to work at creating those. You really
Absolutely. So then we move from the stability place. Now we're going to move to the commitment place. Now, the commitment place is not necessarily meaning marriage. By any means. It doesn't mean that okay, now we have to get married. But this is a good place for that to happen. Where a lot of people make mistakes is they want to get married. They want to rush into married while they're still in that romance place.
Yes.
Where everything is
because
fresh.
Because the world is beautiful at that point.
And everything's perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to love this person forever.
Yeah. And that's where a huge problem is people try to jump into it too quick. So.
But then again, if we're all practical about relationships all the time, is a relationship ever going to happen if we're completely practical and logical about it? Because logic and passion do not coexist in the same place. And for a relationship to bloom, there has to be a certain amount of, passion there, which means you're without logic for a little bit.
I see what you're saying, but I definitely think that logic and passion can coexist.
You think so?
They might not always, but they definitely can.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you how long have you been married?
20 years.
20 years. So you would know better than I on that.
I definitely think. They can't. Yeah, but I agree with you. They don't always.
Mm-hmm.
It's not logical to have a passionate moment with someone whose last name you still don't know. But
no, I guess
sometimes
not.
when that passion takes over,
mm-hmm.
the logic goes out the window.
Right. It's
so
wrong.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There are times that they do not coexist, but they definitely can. And it's okay to have those moments where you're just riding passion.
Yeah.
You threw logic out the window, and you're not really worried about it right now.
No, not at all.
We'll get logical after the passion settles down a little bit, and we can see
Yeah, and
straight.
that leads us to phase 4 we're on now? Phase 4 of relationship stage 4?
Yeah, we're the commitment place,
Commitment.
which is, again, it's not necessarily mean marriage, but this is the best place for marriage to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is where balance has been found. This is where I know the things that make you uncomfortable,
mm-hmm. and I'm going to utilize them to the best of my ability.
No, that's where psycho girlfriend comes from.
Yeah. I have a psycho ex-husband.
I'm guessing you know who she is.
Well, I don't know who she is. I know who he is. I have a psycho ex-husband. I know this game.
But we found balance. We know what situations make someone uncomfortable. And in a good relationship, a healthy relationship,
Healthy one.
we instinctively try to protect our partner.
Right. Very true.
So, and that can be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to fight off dragons for you. I'm not saying that.
I don't want anybody who's not going to fight off a dragon for me.
Yeah, that could be part of the deal, though. You're just setting the bar too high.
Well, maybe that's it. I bet the wizard would have done that if I would have made it past month 3.
Definitely would have. But even I know that you don't like crowded places.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to go to a big fancy restaurant on weekend nights because I know that you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, people get on my nerves.
Or I know that that for whatever reason you're not a big fan of movie theaters.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to drag you.
So I'm not going to make you go to
a
movie theater. Instead, why don't we get a movie and we'll go home?
Yeah.
Or I guess nowadays we just look it up on TV.
Right.
It's not like the old days where you had to go to Blockbuster and get a movie.
Oh, that was a whole fun process.
It was.
And always sneaking over into the 18 and above section.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to be over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took you went for a movie. You knew what movie you were wanting to go get, and you got there, and 45 minutes later, you now had 6 movies.
Okay.
And they're all due back tomorrow.
How disappointing was it when you walked up to that box? You remember this? And you're like, yes. And you pick it up, and there's no more behind it. And that's like the end of your Friday night.
Yeah.
That was it right there.
Now you got to settle for one of those bad movies that you watch.
One of the bad movies I watched.
Yeah, what is it? Turkish Cops in China or some weird
What? No,
alien,
that's a samurai
alien
cop.
cops.
Samurai Cop. I highly suggest anybody who's not seen Samurai Cop to go watch it. You didn't watch it, did you?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That's just as bad of a title as the one I just made up.
Yeah, it's bad.
And in the commitment stage, we've made the distinction between we don't just need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just need your approval and need your love. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big difference.
Yes, needing and wanting is a huge difference.
And sometimes needing it is just a selfish thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just need somebody to love me. But when I want your love, that means that I will work harder for it. In turn, I will be a better partner for you.
True, and you'll be a true better partner, not just the fake. Let's see if this person's gonna buy this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of people like that in the world.
Definitely. The fifth and final place
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship is the place of bliss.
Really? Is that when you die?
No. No. A place of bliss is now we recognize the nurture that's needed to make a relationship work. Like we know what it takes. I know what it takes to make her happy and make her enjoy life. She knows what it takes for me, and we consciously work towards those things because we want to make each other happy. Now it's not just hey, what do I got to do to make this relationship work for me? It's if I'm working to make this relationship good for her, she will do the same for me.
Yeah, and this is assuming that this person you're talking about is a healthy, non-narcissistic person wanting a healthy relationship.
Right. We start and this is also where we start creating things together. From doing small projects together, making a little garden, working together, even to starting a family. You know, we start building a home, whether that's renting a house and making it a home,
right,
or buying a home or building a home. Any of those things. Now we're working together. We're starting to create things together. And when you start creating things together, where it's not just what you brought to the table and what I brought to the table, we're building the table together.
Right.
We're doing this together. This is no longer yours and mine. Now we're working on ours.
There's people that can get all the way to step 5 on their own by themselves, with the other person never coming along step by step, stage by stage, and not being any wiser to it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate when you see it. How do you approach that conversation with someone? Like, they need to be warned. You need to go, hey, look, like this right now is all you. It's right now. It's all give and no take. You're the only one putting in the work. The person that you're with is not as committed as you are. This is not healthy.
Yeah. And
it will never work long term. There will be no happiness at the end of it.
Those conversations don't go good with other people because, you know, they flip-flop. You know, while my partner is being affectionate or kind to me, and I'm not going to talk to this friend anymore because she said something bad about him, and this week things are going great. And, you know, they never work in your favor to intervene, to just, you know.
Right.
But on the same note, people do need a support system. So it's a hard balance.
It is. But you have to recognize that you need that. You need those people that can be a soundboard for you. And this was definitely a conversation, or this was something that I learned very early in our marriage, was when she and I would have a disagreement about something. My soundboard was my mom. I was a mama's boy.
Oh, no.
So I went to my mom and I was like, I can't believe she's doing this and this and this. And of course, my mom, she always had my side. So then the next day, when we both come over and we've already worked out our problem, now my mom's got an attitude with her.
She's still stuck back there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So your soundboard needs to be somebody who recognizes that sometimes I just need somebody to vent to, and I just need somebody to listen, and they have to be smart enough to recognize that that's what it is.
Right. Let me talk. Don't get involved. Just let me speak.
Yeah. Just let me get it off my chest.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 places. And look, there's going to be bumps and ruts in every relationship. In every relationship, there are going to be bumps and ruts. And it's okay. If your love and commitment are strong enough, your relationship can literally make it through anything. It will come out the other side, not just smelling like roses, but stronger than it was before you had that problem.
True.
The number one thing, this is my opinion, the number one thing about a relationship, this is a rule that I live by. Every single day, I still try to do something to impress her.
Really?
As though we are still dating, and I'm still in that romance where I'm just trying to show her all the good stuff. Every day, I try to do something to impress her. I open a jar. You know, show her how tough I am.
Yeah.
You know, I lift shit that's way too heavy for me, and at 40 years old,
everything's too heavy.
That shit sticks with you for a couple days. But I do things every day just to try to impress her, and it doesn't have to be, you know, I don't have to lift a house to impress her. especially after a long time of being married, if I do the dishes and fold some laundry, that's impressive to her.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That is a big deal to a lot of women.
So every day I try to do something to impress her, and that's something that you have to do. Don't forget that. Always, and it goes both ways. It's not just the man for the woman. The woman should always try to do things to impress her partner as well. Or in same-sex marriages, it doesn't matter. If you are in a relationship, you need to always try to impress your partner.
Just put in the work, yeah.
And the reason that that's so important is because if you stop and think about it, they're the most important audience you have anyway.
Right.
So play to that audience.
True, very true. People don't put in the work, though. Nowadays, it's so easy. It's like going to the store for a return.
Yeah.
This didn't happen the way I wanted. This didn't do this. This person didn't do this way. This person didn't praise me enough, which was something in my old marriage I actually had to hear. He threw a fit one time and told him I did not praise him enough.
Yeah.
That's an interesting place to be with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Are you Jesus?
Yeah.
Is it like a light around you?
Right.
Let me build you a church.
You're right. I believe that social media has played a big part in. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that online dating is huge for a lot of people, and it's worked, and there are successful relationships that have come from it.
Where?
Not anybody in this room. But social media has made relationships change so much.
Disposable.
Right. Because now, people think that a marriage is just like a friendship on Facebook. I can just unfriend you.
Yep, that easy.
I can just walk away from it. Just click a button and we're done. And it's not. Man, and I hate that people look at it that way. Just because you're having a rough patch doesn't mean it's over.
That's true.
You've got to be willing to put in that work. And
the stick-to-itiveness that was there in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s, 70s is not there anymore.
Right. I don't know that stick-to-itiveness, is that a real word?
It's my word.
It is now.
It's real because I said so. People don't want to put in the work. They just don't. If something doesn't go their way or someone's not doing what they want, they just go find something else.
Right. Yeah.
And where the problem is loyalty. And loyalty can mean so many different things, It doesn't have to fit into a black and white idea. It can mean so many different things in a relationship.
Yeah. The hitting the first bump in the road and wanting to bail is a very childish thing. And if you're trying to build a strong relationship and you have a childish mentality, it's not going to work out good for you.
No, not at all.
So, to me, hey, that's the Fat Merrill Guide to a Relationship. Those are my 5. Like I said, I call them the 5 places because those are the 5 different places that you go through in a relationship.
And he gives good advice, folks. I just don't listen to him.
But one of the other things that we had decided we were going to talk about the other day, or something that you had brought up. So I know some people like this, but I didn't know a whole lot of the actual symptoms. So I did some research, and I looked some stuff up, and I've got a list of things that will let you know if you are dating a narcissist.
Yes, and that term is so overused now, and I have to say, as a disclaimer, everybody to a certain extent is a little bit narcissistic. We're human. We all have that, but it's the people that take it to like that 9th degree up there that it's a problem with.
So these are some things, and I encourage you to think about past relationship, because there's no doubt in my mind, I think, and because I looked up, I watched a podcast with a doctor who specializes in narcissism, and she said that she has a list of 30 symptoms or characteristics, but these are the ones that she gave. And let me see, I got 11. I've got 11 right here. And I'm going to tell you that I believe, because I know this person, I would believe that probably all 11 of these will probably hit him right square in the mouth.
Is it my ex-husband?
Yes. And
yeah.
And according to the doctor that I watched, I wish I could remember her name. I can't remember her name. The doctor that I watched, if 6 of these, if just 6 of the 30 apply, then that's a really good indication that they have narcissism. So let's start with the first one. The first one is lacks empathy.
Yep.
I don't care that you're having a bad day. I don't care that you don't feel well. Are things still going well for me?
Yes. Yep.
So lacks empathy.
But I do have to say here, people that are very highly narcissistic are good, especially in that honeymoon phase of faking empathy, pretending empathy, and it's a hard thing to see through. It's a very hard thing.
Absolutely, and that's something else that we'll touch on when we get to the end of this. Really entitled, feeling like they deserve special treatment.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can even go in a delusional way. And, there's narcissistic people that have delusions about who they are in the world. And the interesting thing about narcissistic people, you see them, and they seem kind of like everything goes their way. Things are always playing into their hand. That's because in their mind, and we follow the mind. We are creators. In their mind, they are living this real delusion. Therefore, there's no negative feedback in there. There's no, like a normal person is like, oh, no, that's not me. I'm not attractive all the time. I'm not good at this all the time. You talk to yourself like that, your life's going to follow. A narcissist doesn't talk to themselves like that up here. Especially the ones that are delusional, because they believe that they know what they are. Therefore, that is what they are.
Right.
And that is why life seems to go so well for narcissistic people, because it's what they allow in their head. And in their head, there's no room for anything that is not exceptional about themselves.
Yeah.
I think, therefore I am,
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. They're very grandiose.
Grandiose, yeah.
They, everything is big and flashy. They have to put on a show. They have to be the center of attention.
Yes. Some of them do, Some of them do.
They harbor huge fantasies. Which also goes towards kind of what you were just saying. To them, they're not fantasies.
No, they're real.
They're realities. And sometimes they might not be realities that are in play yet, but they know that that's where they're going.
But they feel that that's where they are, I believe,
So,
and having an argument with a narcissist that is in that place, it doesn't matter how much logic you lend to the situation or how much logic you use to point something out, it is never going to win an argument with a narcissist.
Right.
Because they do not respond to logic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they only affiliate with people that they feel are as cool as them.
Oh, who does that remind me of?
So, well, and that's definitely something, especially with your ex, that I recognized, because this is somebody that I knew for a very, very long time. But then as he got further,
his tax bracket changed,
then I would see him out and about and wouldn't get a hello.
Right.
I mean, this is somebody that I spent an unusual amount of in close. I mean, we traveled together, so we were very, very close. And then all of a sudden, now I see him at a gas station, and I can't even get a wave.
Yeah.
So I knew that was something.
Yeah, when they are done with you, when you do not have a purpose anymore, you do not get to exist in their world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very superficial, concerned with their appearance, concerned with the vehicle that they drive, the clothes that they wear, and not only just them, they want the people. So like, they would expect you, like if you're going with me, you're gonna have to look better than this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to step it up, step up your game, because they want their appearance.
They have a show to put on. They're constantly.
They might not have $2 in the bank, but they want to look like $1 million when they walk in front of somebody.
They're constantly out there politicking. They're politicians. That's their general mindset.
Right. And I would say that most politicians
are narcissists.
At some level.
They would have to be.
At some level, have to be narcissistic. They don't regulate their emotions well, and they're prone to throwing tantrums.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen that in people before too, where it would be something silly, something silly to the rest of the world, but to them, it was detrimental. And they don't know how to just, they can't just go, oh, I really don't like the way that played out. It's rage.
It is rage.
A full-blown fit.
But you know what is scary is when you are in the presence of a narcissist who has been kind of counseled and schooled and knows every one of their flaws and knows what people are going to be looking for, and they fine-tune that and balance it on the outside, and they get a hold of that rage on the outside, but on the inside they're raging, and sometimes they will have silent tantrums, you know. Sometimes if it's going to make them look bad and they're very publicly aware, oh, this is going to make me look like an idiot in front of this person, they are conditioned, a lot of them are conditioned enough at certain points in their life that they can hold things in. And at that point, if you are the narcissist's person, best friend, in a relationship, married, whatever, you're going to get the brunt of that. So they're going to present themselves one way to society, and when they come home, it's going to be completely different.
Right. That's a bad place to be, too. They get angry quick when they don't get their way, so that's kind of along the same lines. They're super sensitive to criticism.
Yes.
They can dish it, but they can't take it.
Right.
They want to criticize everybody else and their faults because it makes them look better. But if you criticize something they have done, you're insane.
Yeah, don't do that. Back
you're
up.
insane. So, extremely jealous.
But the thing that is interesting about narcissists is they might not be only jealous of somebody talking to you because they're afraid of losing you. They're afraid and jealous of the fact that they are not the one getting that attention.
Right.
So it's a weird dynamic here. You know, men can be jealous of women. Women can be jealous of men. Like, oh, you know, he's getting more attention than I am, and I'm not the center. You know, so it goes a little bit more in depth than just, oh, I'm jealous and I don't want my significant other talking to this person. It goes deeper sometimes to where, well, this person is talking to my significant other, and who is paying attention to me? I need the attention.
Right.
You know, I lived that with somebody for a very long time, and I'll tell you, in the very early years, he used to get so jealous, and I was a little flattered. You know, so he must think a lot of me. That wasn't it. He didn't think much of me. It was the fact that he was not on center stage, the one getting,
right.
You know, yeah.
You were taking the spotlight.
I was taking the spotlight. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's insane. This last one is a term that I've heard before, but until I watched this doctor and she explained it, I didn't fully understand what it meant, and that's gaslighting.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Jesus.
So they basically...
The last 18 years of my life was a big, giant gaslighting conversation.
So basically what they're doing is they doubt your reality so much so that you yourself start to think that maybe it is me.
Yeah, and they're very well at it. And it's mentally exhausting to be in a relationship with a narcissist because you have to stay on top of all these games that come naturally to them.
Yeah.
That they have the energy to, and they can expend so much. You know, normal people can't. Healthy, normal, emotional people don't have that much energy to constantly focus and put into themselves and what they're going to say and what they're going to do next and what they're going to, you know.
Yeah.
And it is exhausting. And gaslighting is one of the most frustrating things in the world. Do you know where the term came from?
I do not.
It was an old movie in the 1930s, maybe 30s, 40s, and it was a movie about a man who had a mistress, and he was trying to convince his wife of something, and they were trying to make her slowly go crazy. So every time the gaslights, they would turn the gaslights down in the house. Yeah. And she would say, you know, well, what happened to the lights? He would say, I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody turned the lights down. They've always looked like this. And that's, you know, gaslighting can be done in different forms, but that's the most, like, you know, the form people are most familiar with.
Which, and here's what's, and this is what I was saying, you know, we'll get into a little more depth with some of this stuff, is what's crazy to me is, okay, first of all, like what you're just saying, describing that movie, they were intentionally doing it. They were intentionally trying to make her go crazy.
Yes.
That, to me, is not just a narcissist. They're also a psychopath.
Yeah.
But what's crazy to me is that there are people who will do that, and they don't even realize they're doing it. They just know if I do this, this, and this, I can turn that around on them to where it's not my fault.
Yeah.
So for those people who are doing it subconsciously, to me, they're even more dangerous.
Yes.
Because they don't even know that they're doing it. But can you the charisma that it takes to make that happen?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something about charisma that somebody said to me one time, and it kind of caught me off guard. As a good friend of mine, we were driving around one time, and the conversation came up. If you could meet and hang out with any person for one day,
mm-hmm.
dead or alive, you had the opportunity to meet them and hang out with them, who would that person be? And what this person answered, which is, like I said, a very good friend of mine, he's Native American, he said Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
And it caught me so off guard. I was like,
Hitler
what?
was an intelligent individual.
And he was like, can you imagine how charismatic that guy had
mm-hmm.
to be to convince an entire country that these insane thoughts that he was having were a good idea?
Yeah, and he got all those people to believe.
In the end, most of it was run by fear.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, getting all those people to agree with him, they just had to agree with him. Because as one person, he couldn't threaten all of these people.
Right.
He had to convince them.
The number one best salesperson, Hitler, he had faith and belief in his idea.
Right.
Therefore, it couldn't fail.
Right.
You know, faith is the basis of everything, good or bad.
Right. I mean, extreme narcissism.
Yes.
Same with someone like Charles Manson. Charles Manson, that's why, and I don't know how true this is, but I heard for a long time.
Oh, I am a Charles Manson aficionado.
Are you really?
I am.
I heard for a long time that while Charles Manson was locked up, he had a cell block to himself, and the guards were on rotation. They could only be with him for like 30 minutes or an hour at a time, because they believed that if you spent more than a little bit of time with this guy, he could convince you that he was right and you were wrong.
I have heard that story. I knew a judge that worked on his case for a while.
Really?
The murder trial. Yeah, they had several judges on there, and he was an older gentleman that I knew was on there for a while, and he was talking about the charisma that Charles Manson would have from the stand.
Yeah.
And see, when people build other people up, and they're like, oh, they make a legend out of somebody, it is so easy to want to buy into that and feed into that and make it bigger than it really is.
Yeah. And like my dad lived with Manson.
I remember you telling me about that.
Not at Helter Skelter or whatever that place was called, whatever their farm was called. I don't know all the details. But I know that like my dad, when he lived in California, it was like a house, but they kind of treated it like an apartment
mm-hmm.
building. But my dad's name was the name that was on the lease, and Charles Manson just got brought over by somebody else who happened to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's room was one of the rooms upstairs, and he came home from work one day and he went upstairs, and when he got up there, he caught Charles Manson going through his shit. So he said, you can walk down them stairs and never come back, or I can help you down them stairs. And he and Charles Manson wound up getting into it. And he goes, he was around for a little while before this incident. He goes, he was just a weird guy.
Yeah.
You could just tell, and this was before he had all these things going for him. He was just another hippie,
right,
in California at the time. He goes, but my dad said, yeah. He goes, he was an odd guy. He was just weird to be around. He goes, I didn't like being around him anyway, just because of the way he talked. Like he just talked weird to people. He goes, so I was kind of glad that he and I had that falling out. So he had to leave. Like he didn't have an option. He goes, so I didn't have to be around him any longer than that. But
man.
But yeah, I mean, so Charles Manson, Hitler, these guys.
David Koresh.
Yeah, David Koresh.
Moonies. I know all my cult leaders.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, the Moonies. That's what the Moonies is, right? Kim Jong-un.
No, Kim Jong-un is the president of North Korea.
Oh my God! Yeah. It's because I'm drunk. No. It's because I'm blonde. All right, they're all Korean. All right, I'm sorry. So the Moonies.
I've never heard this.
The Moonies, you have to look up the Moonies.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a cult.
But they're run by narcissists, people who believe that what they say and do is 100% right.
You've got to move that. You got to take that off your computer.
I can't because our deal's on here. All right, so that concludes.
Have you ever been gaslighted, though? Let me ask you.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
That's a very sad place to be, because you have your logic and you know what you know and you know you're right, but then somebody is sitting there and you're like, and the longer they talk and the more energy they put and the more exhausted you get, you're like, wait a second, maybe I'm not right, maybe I don't know, I did see this but maybe I didn't see it. That's a very awful place to be.
I would imagine.
I spent the last 18 years of my life there.
One thing that did make sense to me, sorry about that, I tried to crack that away from the mic. One thing that did make sense is I looked at a theater one time that I was looking to do a show at, and it was called the Gaslight Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand, the name didn't make sense to me. Why would you name a theater But now it makes sense, because what you're doing is you're wanting to change the reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is exactly what you do in a theater. You put on a play or a performance to alter the reality of people's regular lives and make them think that this is now, which I guess would be a good play, if they're doing a good job. So when I learned what the definition of gaslighting was, that was the first thing I thought of, was that theater that I never understood why they called it that.
It's a cute name.
Made sense to me.
It's a clever name.
All right. Hey, guys. Here in the middle of this, let me go ahead and say it again. If you don't already, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe our YouTube page. And also go to our Facebook page, Cheaper Than Therapy, and follow us over there. Help us continue to grow. The more we grow, the better things we can do for you.
Yeah.
So, I just got to throw that out there every once in a while. All right, so what's next?
We're going to talk about country music or bad tattoos.
Ooh.
What do you think? Which one's better?
Bad tattoos is a great subject.
All right, let's go there.
First of all, how many tattoos do you have?
I have 3. Another one's scheduled in September. I have 3 right now.
You schedule your tattoos that far out?
Eddie is busy. He has to.
All of my tattoos are like, hey, what are you doing right now? Let's just go ahead and do it.
Really? I don't have any people like that. I don't know anybody like that.
Really?
No.
I bet you do. You just don't know.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Because we know a couple of the same people. Mm-hmm. That I guarantee you could call them right now and go get a tattoo.
Well, then call them for me. Get me a tattoo.
What do you want?
Right now.
Well, I can do it. I got this pen right here. We can start sketching.
I need to make a bad life decision that's going to be permanently on my body right now.
Okay, so here's one of the tattoos, and I've done bits about this in some of my stand-up. Do you remember the baby footprint tattoos? Those are really cute.
Yeah.
And it's a cute idea, and it still is. Unless your kid was born with abnormally large feet.
Yeah.
Which we know a girl, and her kid was. This boy had some skis on him. I mean,
I wouldn't be getting that on me.
Well, she got it.
Where'd she get it?
And she got it tattooed on her chest.
Oh.
And she's kind of a big-chested girl anyway. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about it, and I said, eventually those things are going to start to go south, as large boobs do, and those footprints are just going to get longer, and eventually it's going to look like she was drop kicked in the chest by a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Which goes back to our Bigfoot stories. That would be crazy.
She'll be there at the Bigfoot Festival telling everybody it really happened.
I just had them tattooed around the bruise. Mm-hmm. This is real. Yeah, that's a bad one. I think that people have got to think into the future when they're getting tattoos. When you don't get a cartoon character that's popular right now.
Oh my God, everybody!
Because your skin will change.
Well, yeah.
Your tattoo's not going to look like that forever.
The 90s, Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I automatically judge anybody that has a Looney Tunes tattoo. I'm just going to judge them.
If you got somebody that back in the 80s got a Tasmanian devil tattoo on their leg, by now it looks like a poop emoji.
For sure.
The skin has already started to change. And so if somebody now runs out and gets a SpongeBob SquarePants tattoo, by the time they're in their 40s and 50s, it's just going to look like a yellow cancer spot.
Yeah, that is possible. Who's getting SpongeBob tattoos out there, though? Surely
somebody. There are people who get random faces of people tattooed on them.
Oh, good Lord.
I don't get tattoos on your face, your neck and face. I'm not talking about
neck tattoos are bad for you. You don't like neck tattoos?
No, oh God, come on. I feel and nowadays the climate of the world has changed so much when it comes to tattoos. Like you can walk through Walmart where people are fully clothed, and 9 out of 10 people you walk past will have a tattoo that you can see while they're fully clothed. They'll have it on their hands. If they're wearing short sleeves, they'll have it on their arms. They'll have it on their neck, their face, on their ears.
Yeah, I can't do the face tattoos.
I don't. And to me, my deal always was I never wanted to get tattoos this low. I said I would never do it. I would always get anything from the elbow up, and because mostly I wanted to be able to cover everything up. My grandparents didn't like tattoos, and I wanted to be respectful, so I just put on a short sleeve shirt, and they would never even see anything. Well, then they passed, and so I started getting tattoos on my forearms. But I'll never get anything below my wrist. I won't ever get anything on my hands. So I can still cover. I can put on a long sleeve shirt, and nobody would have any idea.
Yeah.
And I've got. I mean, my back is covered. My chest is covered. My arms, my leg. So I've got a lot of tattoos, but everything I've got is where it can be covered up because I still feel like there are going to be situations where you need to walk in and be able to look professional.
So there's still a stigma even this far into life, that
For
tattoos are still not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we went into a restaurant one time, and the girl that was going to seat us, the hostess, she had tattoos on her neck, she had tattoos on her hands, and she had 4 piercings in her face.
Yeah.
And I was like, to me, that's just not a very welcoming.
Really?
It's just not. I don't know. I mean, I don't care. Do what you want to do. I mean, I still sat down at the restaurant and ate, but it is a thought that I had was like, this is not a very welcoming looking person. She looks like she's a street fighter. She's got tattoos on her neck and hands and metal all in her face. Again, it's your body. You do with it what you want to do. Just me personally, I would never do any of those things because I feel like, and I know that it's now probably considered to be an old-fashioned even thought to have.
It's an antiquated thought.
I still feel like I should be able to look professional.
Yeah.
And I think that having tattoos all over your body, which, like I said, and I'm not against tattoos. I've got lots of them.
We grew up in a different generation. So your sons, my daughter, they're going to grow up in a completely different one, and there's not going to be a stigma surrounding tattoos in the next 10, 20 years.
And my daughter, she started going crazy with it. She's 21 now, but her boyfriend's sister, and I think this is really the only thing that bothers me about it, is she's getting all these tattoos from her boyfriend's sister, who got a tattoo gun off of Amazon.
Oh.
And just started doing tattoos.
So your daughter's getting like prison style tattoos.
Yeah. Now, I will give her this, is there have been some things have actually turned out pretty good.
So your daughter's just letting her practice on her.
Basically, yeah.
We have to see some of these tattoos.
Yeah. And she and here's another thing is not just because, like I said, some of them are. This girl has gotten better, and I realize that no matter what you do, you have to practice in order to get better. Could you just do it on somebody besides my kid?
Yeah.
But whatever. But she's grown. She can make those decisions.
She can make all the bad decisions she wants.
I asked her 2 things. Please don't get tattoos on your hands. Please don't get tattoos from your neck up.
Did she?
She definitely has a tattoo right behind her ear.
Oh, it's just a little one.
Yeah, it is a little one.
Okay.
And there's a whole group of them. They went on a vacation together, and they wanted to get so it's just like a little wave.
That one's harmless.
I still give her a hard time about it. But my deal is that the tattoos are not a good enough quality. So there's some of them that are even just a few months old. You can already see that they've begun to fade.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, you kind of wasted that time and that pain and, on something that's not going to look good for very long.
She'll
but
figure that out.
And it's a lot different when you're talking to it in regards to your kid. It's different.
I don't deal with that yet. My daughter's 8, so we haven't.
Just imagine how different the world is going to be when your daughter's 21 and you're having to deal with these situations.
I know, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably. Oh my gosh!
Knew it was coming. Oh
no,
you got ahead.
Matt. We need cleanup. Oh my god. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, you keep talking to the people while I go get something to clean that up.
Don't you dare leave me here alone.
I'm going to go get some stuff to clean that up real quick.
They're just going to sit here and watch me drink what's left of this.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut you off.
Do you have the Jeopardy music to cue? It seems like an appropriate time.
It would be a good time to have that, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. You better hurry back with the towel. I'm the clumsiest person in the world. It's amazing to me that that's only one time I've ever done that on camera is spilled a beer. But I didn't really spill all that much of it. You're back.
Yeah.
That's that awkward moment. Go get the towel.
The entire time I was
just for a second. Go get the towel. That's an awkward moment. That's just a.
You just laying there waiting.
Yeah, just waiting.
Laying there waiting.
Yeah, that's an awkward moment. Let me have that.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna help you clean it, but
yeah, I'll just take care of it just like this.
Because that's the kind of guy I am. When she sends me to go get the towel, I even help clean it.
Really?
I do.
You are so considerate.
That's how you stay married for 20 years.
Oh, listen to that, folks.
Yeah. We knew it was coming. I knew it was coming the moment she opened that can.
Did you?
Yeah, and you almost dropped it when you opened it.
I was telling them, I was like, I'm the clumsiest person.
Just the smell of the beer had her fumbling.
It's a wonder it hadn't happened yet on camera.
Good?
Good. We're good. We're good.
There we go.
Still a little wet and tacky, but
it's all right.
It'll dry.
It's kind of like my personality, a little tacky. Yeah. Oh, the other tattoo thing that I always is stop getting tattoos that are in a different language. You
like
don't
Chinese
know. Yes, you don't know what that says. You don't. And people, oh yeah, I looked it up on Google. It says peace, love, and chicken grease or whatever. And I'm like, so you believe everything you see on the internet? I had a pop up on my screen just the other day said I could add 3 inches in 3 easy steps, and all I got was carpal tunnel.
Really?
You can't believe everything just because it's on Google.
The early stages of carpal tunnel.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, you've been doing it a while.
I'm 40 years old. That shit has set in by now.
So I have judged a few people.
We're gonna start treating you like a kid.
Yeah,
set the drink way back there.
Can you just put it in a sippy cup for me next time?
We should.
Do you have a sippy cup?
I can get you a straw. You want to set yours back here?
Maybe I need to set it back there.
I mean, you still reach it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's possible. That's a little rough though there, Matt. I might need you to reach that for me.
What were you going to say?
I have judged some dudes on their tattoos. I was really liking this guy, right? He was an MMA fighter at one point. Obviously wasn't while he was dating me. But,
what did his ears look like?
He had perfectly okay ears.
Then he was not an MMA fighter. He was lying.
Other things wrong with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but, yeah. I liked him, right? Really liked this guy. And the first time I saw him take his shirt off, he had an affliction tattoo. And I was like, no, I don't like you anymore.
Oh, God, it's like having an American Eagle logo tattooed on your butt cheek or something.
Oh, my God, I know. What kind of person would have an American Eagle logo on their butt cheek?
I don't know.
Or American Eagle anything.
Yeah, anywhere.
No affliction tattoos. No, like tattoos of your friggin' kids. This one dude had a picture of his child, like a baby child, coming out of his rib cage in red ink. Like, that's probably not the appropriate ink to use either.
I got one for you.
What?
I know a girl. She had a boyfriend who passed away. Mm-hmm. And they were serious. Like, they were probably getting close to marriage. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they were serious. And she got a portrait tattoo of him on her back.
Why?
Now, it was a very well done tattoo. It was a good portrait. But all I was thinking was that no dude in your future is going to want to hit it from behind.
Do you think she was thinking about that when she got the tattoo?
Absolutely not. That's all I was thinking, though. It was like, no dude is going to want to hit it from behind with you and stare at your ex-boyfriend. You have to be hitting it from behind and just looking...
The lights off.
Looking everywhere else. Yeah, with the lights off. That's all I thought about when the very first time I saw it. I was like, oh boy, you just took one full move out of your sex life.
I met a dude this weekend. Okay. He has the funniest tattoo. It is his whole back, right? It's Jaws.
Okay.
The whole like ocean system is there with Jaws. This is like a very detailed tattoo, and on top, swimming the water is him and his face. It's swimming away from Jaws. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, it is the funniest tattoo. It's funny. He showed it to me and he was like, "Are you never gonna talk to me again?"
And you're like, no, that one's so funny.
It was funny. He had Pittsburgh Steelers swim trunks on, like it was all the fine details were all like perfect. Yeah, because it's his favorite football team.
He had Pittsburgh Steelers swim trunks tattooed on.
On him, on his back in the tattoo while he's swimming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
he's swimming
God.
away from Jaws, and his face is on this body, on his back.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's hilarious. Are you still okay with all the tattoos that you have?
I actually am. I only have 3. I'm okay with all of them.
Yeah.
Because they all have significance and meaning to me, So I'm okay with them.
I have one tattoo that I for sure, like every once in a while I'll catch a glimpse of it, like in the mirror, and I'm like, you fucking idiot.
What is it?
Copenhagen.
What, Matt?
I swear.
That's as bad as Affliction.
And this is the way it happened. I told my mom, I said, I'm going to go get a Copenhagen tattoo. And I was just being a smartass.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you will not. Straight to the tattoo shop.
So where is it?
It's on my shoulder.
It's on your shoulder?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. That's as bad as Affliction.
It is. And that's the only tattoo. Like, I've got another one that's kind of is goofy. It was an old nickname.
What is that one?
It's just Worm.
Okay.
And it's got a little worm with a cowboy hat on.
Uh-huh.
And that was just kind of like sometimes I'm like, that's dumb.
How did you get that nickname?
You dumbass. When I used to be a lot smaller than I am.
Yeah.
And when we would play football,
mm-hmm.
the other guys on the field, like I would run the ball, and they said that I was able to worm through the line.
Mm-hmm.
So then all those guys that I played ball with, they all called me Worm from then on. And then it just started growing, and people started introducing me to people as Worm. And I swear to God, like this grew to where I didn't have a single friend that called me by my real name. I think that I had friends that didn't know what my real name was. I went and got this tattoo, and there's like one person left on the planet that still calls me Worm. And so now sometimes, and that's, I think I look at it and I'm like, dumbass.
Well, I don't have any of those tattoos, so.
No. And I've got John Wayne tattooed on my leg.
You do? I have not seen that one.
Yeah. I'm a big John Wayne fan. I don't know if you've noticed in my living room,
mm-hmm.
the largest picture, well, not just in my living room, the largest picture in our house
mm-hmm.
is John Wayne.
Really? I've not noticed.
He takes up more wall space than any of my kids.
Well, you know what? I have a Velvet Elvis in my home that takes up more space than my daughter's pictures, and she's so pissed about this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
I had
funny.
to have that Velvet Elvis.
We're that's an interesting thing too. We're guilty of the era too now. Like I remember being a kid and hey, we need to go have pictures made. Mm-hmm. We need to go have pictures made. We need to go. Like my mom has so many pictures of me.
Mm-hmm.
We do not like the most recent picture. Like the most recent picture of our kids. We've got a group picture of the 3 of them, like professionally done. My youngest is like he might have just been learning to walk. He's now 14 years old. All of the rest of our pictures are on our phones.
That's how I am too.
It's bad. I hate that. I used to be a big picture guy.
So you were going to Sears all the time, getting pictures taken.
Yeah, Sears,
Kmart.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I was always going and having pictures made. And I'll tell you, like, we would go and have pictures made more often now if these photographers weren't so ridiculous.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Like, you want to go and have, like, hey, I just want to, like, have a family portrait made.
With
like,
a backdrop. Okay, I need a backdrop with some, like, blue waves.
That's going to be $500.
Yeah.
Like, what?
You could go to Kmart and pick out a package for, like, $25 back in 1992.
Yeah. Well, and our phones nowadays are so crazy. Like, all the pictures that I have, well, not all of them now, because I did have a professional photo shoot done that was...
You did.
But all the pictures that I used for promotions before that, like all those pictures right there on those flyers, I just called my daughter one day and I said, hey, what are you doing? And she goes, oh, nothing. I said, would you mind coming out to the house? And we just drove around and she just took pictures with her phone. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to I had her send them to me, and then on my phone, I edited them. I turned them to black and white. I did different stuff with them, and then I just saved them all, and I used them for promotional pictures.
Yeah.
But we just did it off the phone, and this is like, I don't know. Are you a Star Wars person?
Hell no.
No, I'm not either. I haven't like the old Star Wars, like back when there was still like regular Luke Skywalker and like the olden days. I saw those. I haven't seen any of the Star Wars that were made after the 80s.
My dad, I was 16 and they were something like that, and they re-released it in the movie theaters, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. He made all of us go. I just remember that being a horrible experience, and I never wanted to watch Star Wars again. Never.
Well, I heard, I was talking to a guy one day, and he was telling me that some of the new Star Wars movies, like some of the scenes in them, were filmed on an iPhone.
Really?
Because it was just easier for them to get a small, camera in there to film some, and then they were able to cut it in with the other stuff.
Really?
But, I mean, the cameras on our phones are ridiculous now.
This means a whole lot for the porn industry.
Yeah.
That's where all of our conversations are going to go back to.
Habib and Muhammad.
Yeah.
Maybe we will start a porn company.
Possibly.
We don't have to buy super fancy cameras.
No.
We'll just use
You got
our
a new
phones.
iPhone.
I did get a new phone. And the camera is really good. Look how good I look on that
That's
phone.
a pretty good camera. Yeah. I think I got a double chin, but it's pretty good.
It's all about posture.
Is that why you're walking around like this all the time? I don't have a double chin.
This is my wife when we take selfies. Like, I'll just hold the phone straight out here like this, and she's like, nope, up. All selfies have to be taken from up here.
That's the advantage of that.
All selfies have to be taken from
I don't know things like this.
We don't have a single picture straight on. All of our pictures are looking up.
Back in the day, if you just had a double chin, you had a double chin. The photographer wasn't like, let me unhook my camera.
Yeah, y'all kneel down and I'll stand up.
I'm going to get this ladder.
Yeah.
Look up at me.
It's crazy. But I was thinking about that the other day. I was like looking at pictures just sitting in the living room. I was like, damn, that's the most recent picture we've got framed of our kids is, 13 years ago.
Do you feel bad as a parent?
I do. I also feel bad as a parent when a great song comes on and my kids are like, who's this?
You are a failure, Matt.
Yeah.
Complete 100% failure.
I did do a really good job, like especially with my daughter, because she used to spend a lot of time with, like she and I would go places, and there's not an old song, there's not an old country song that you can play that she can't tell you who it is.
Who's her favorite?
She's a huge Johnny Cash fan.
Johnny Cash.
But she listens a lot. I mean, she can tell you who John Conley is. I mean, she knows a lot of the old guys.
Okay, who's the she's acting single, I'm drinking doubles. Who is that? What is that? Who is that?
That's John Conley.
That's not John Connolly. That's oh my gosh. I'm going to Google it.
Google it.
He's my favorite singer, and I can't even remember his name now.
It's not John Conley.
It's not John Connolly. Oh, I
now I'm drawing a blank
here in the studio.
Now I'm drawing a blank.
Oh my! It's on the tip of my tongue. You might have more luck than I do right now.
I can't do anything. Everything over here is taken up.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
Oh, I can probably do it on this.
This is so awful. Gary Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Gary Stewart. He's my favorite.
That was going to be my next guess.
It's Gary Stewart.
That was going to be my next guess. Was Gary Stewart.
I love him.
Don Williams. I love Don Williams. Good Old
Boys Like Me. Did he sing that one?
I Believe in Love.
Yeah. Who's saying you can't roller skate through a buffalo herd? Do you remember that one?
Was that Little Jimmy Dickens?
I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
Yeah.
But you can be happy if you've a mind to.
Yes, that one.
Let's look.
And then, do you remember, and you probably don't remember because I know this was before our time, but it is a funny song. It's called Crispy Critters. It is a country song.
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller sang that.
Who's saying Crispy Critters? It's a really famous 70s guy. Who is it?
C.W. McCall.
C.W. McCall. See, I thought that, but I thought I was going to be wrong, so I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Country music has come, so far and gone back, it's weird.
Man. So, I think country music took a big leap from straight country to then kind of mixing itself with blues.
R&B. It's got a lot of R&B beats behind it now.
It does now, yeah. But I was talking about like from the beginning. We kind of went country, and then they kind of mixed in with some blues, and then they kind of got some rock aspects shown in or thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Elvis started releasing country songs, obviously it has a little bit of a rock tone to it.
Jerry Lee Lewis, wasn't he considered country too for a while?
Yeah, probably in the beginning of his career he was, but he
saw
definitely
him in concert.
What?
I did. I saw Jerry Lewis in concert.
They take him out on a wheelchair?
No, he walked out all himself with the little cane and sat down at that piano and just completely tore it up.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Beat it down, huh?
He did.
That's awesome. There's some of those old guys that I still like. Merle Haggard was a big one for me. I really wanted to see Merle Haggard, and we talked about going to a show like in August or September of the year that he died, and then he died like a couple months before we got to go. I was like, man, I blew that one. But like Hank Jr., I still want to go see Hank Jr. I had a buddy of mine. He went and saw David Allen Coe, and he goes, dude, he talked the whole time.
Did he?
Like he would talk and just tell stories, and then he would sing for a little bit, and he'd talk. He goes, I was bored out of my mind. And I was like, dude, that's what I want. I want to listen to those old guys tell stories.
I would like that too. So if you like Hank, do you like Hank the Third?
Funny story about Hank the Third.
Okay.
I had no idea. I had not heard of Hank the Third singing. And a buddy of mine said, hey, Hank the Third is going to be, this is back when there was Sidewinders, and then right next to it was Diamondback.
Oh, yes, I remember those days.
So, and he goes, hey, Hank the, a friend of mine introduced me to it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is, like, because he sounded exactly like his grandpa.
Yep.
And he looks just like his grandpa, too, except for the long braids. And I was like, dude, I definitely got to see this guy. Well, then he was going to be at Diamondback. So I paid for tickets for me and my wife and another couple of couples. I said, hey, we're all going to this. This is going to be awesome. We get out there, and I'm in some nice breeches, got my boots on, got my button down going. I'm feeling pretty fly for a white guy. Okay. We walk into this bar, and everybody else in there is wearing Jinkos and all black and all this. And I'm like, what the hell do these people know who they're here to see?
Did they know?
He comes out on the stage, or they come out. He comes out there, got a fucked up cowboy hat on, got his long braids and shit. And he goes, we usually sing traditional country and western music. And I'm like, woo! And I'm the only one that makes noise. And he goes, but every once in a while, we like to get with our friends and just rock.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not what I came to see, but I can handle some rock. This was not rock.
Was it metal?
The bass drum hits. Doom, doom, doom. And I'm like, oh, shit. He strums his guitar. Bow, bow, bow. Gets silent. And he goes, fuck you, motherfucker. The whole band starts in, and there's people on the dance floor slamming into each other. And I was like, what the fuck what is going on? I was so pissed. Did you ever go to Diamondback?
Yes.
Okay, it was divided into two.
The time I was there, they had released smoke bombs or tear gas. It was an interesting night.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it was an interesting night. It was like that scene in that movie with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg, Fear, except I wasn't with a sexy older man. I was with my best friend. She pushed me down so she could get away.
But yeah, you know that bar was divided into two. So like all the live performances and stuff were in the back. We went to the front, and I shot pool against a bunch of guys who had just gotten off work. I shot pool until I made my money back for those tickets. Like I didn't stay for the end of that first song.
Okay, so
I was pissed.
Hank the Third, just so you know, he's done things with Phil Anselmo from Pantera, so he was in that band too. He was in one of Phil Anselmo's bands. I can't remember which one, because he's had a couple, Superjoint Ritual and he's
see, and I'm okay with that, but if I would have known that that's the concert he was doing there, I probably wouldn't have gone. Because I wanted to see, and at that point, I didn't know all that about him. I didn't know that he, played in, some different rock bands and done all this stuff.
Metal
all I had seen was his, like, real traditional twang country sound. That's all I had ever seen, so I was super excited about going to see it. it just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
It does.
Anyway, so another time I go to Sidewinders. Or not Sidewinders, Diamondback.
Well, yeah, Sidewinders. You were there all the time. They knew you by name.
Oh, we went there a few times. But we went to Diamondback one time. My dad and I, we went to see Wade Hayes. Remember Wade Hayes?
Oh, my gosh. In a Chevy, in a hurry, in the pouring down rain. Yes.
Old enough to know better, still too young to care.
Yes.
Wade Hayes was so out of his mind. They had to lead him up onto the stage, hand him his guitar, and he put on a hell of a show.
Really?
As soon as the show was over, like he played his whole set. As soon as the show was over, somebody had to take the guitar from him, they grabbed him by his arm, and they escorted him back to the bus. He had no clue where he was.
I'm going to go listen to some Wade Hayes when I leave.
This dude was out of his... I don't know what kind of dope he was on, or what he was... His face was all sunk in.
Really?
Oh, he looked bad. He put on a hell of a show, though. But you could tell, like, he had no idea where... Like, it was just the motions. He just went through the motions, sang the songs, played the guitar. His band did a great job. As soon as it was over, he just stood there like, I don't... He was like Talladega Nights. He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And so somebody had to come and get him, and they led him back to his bus.
Man, I miss Diamondback. I never really went into Sidewinders, but I miss those places.
Sidewinders wasn't really...
No. I met... You remember the band Dishwalla from the 90s?
No.
That Counting Cars song? I met them in the parking lot of Sidewinders one time.
Really?
I did. On their tour bus, yeah. It was the weirdest, like, accidental meeting ever.
Huh.
They were nice dudes.
Were they?
Yeah.
So Sidewinders, for those of you who don't know, Sidewinders was the strip club.
Yeah. One of the two popular. Wasn't there? There was another one. There's the Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon out west of town.
Yeah.
Which Dragon was the classy one.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Sidewinders was the one that the girls on stage might be 9 months pregnant.
They had midgets.
Yeah, well, there was midgets out there. I saw a girl that was at least 450 out there one time.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't care. That was for guys that just wanted to see boobs. They had no... So it was a rough place, and it smelt bad. It smelt bad in there.
I would never go in Sidewinders. Okay, refused. So I had a friend with me one night. And she's like, I gotta go in there, and I gotta find a friend of mine. She's like, will you wait on me? And I'm like, yeah. She goes in there looking for this guy. She was gone 30 minutes, and I'm like, I have had it. I am not sitting in the parking lot of Sidewinders any longer. And she had specifically told me, because she knew me, she's like, when I go in there, do not get anybody to say my name over the loudspeaker. You know, like I'm looking for. So I was like, I've had enough of this. So I go get the security guard, and the security guard takes my message, and they make an announcement while the girl's on stage, and it's like, Jamie, blah, 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 your friend is looking for you. They said her name like 5 times. She came out of there so mad at me, but she never went into Sidewinders again.
Where was she?
What do you mean, where was she? I don't know what she was doing when she was in there.
Sound like me she was in there making money.
I don't know what she was doing, but she never went in there again. She wouldn't talk to me for 2 weeks. You know, people were going to know she was in there now because I made sure.
Yeah, they saw you walk in the door.
Yeah.
The place was not big enough for people
Yeah.
not to notice you when you, like, every time the door opened, you turned to see who was coming in. Oh gosh, we were sitting out there one time, and a buddy of mine was a county cop at the time. Mm-hmm. And county cops go and do walkthroughs at all the different bars. They'll just kind of walk through and make sure everything's cool. And I saw him come in, and we just kind of like made eye contact and nodded or whatever, and he went about his business. Well, none of my other guys that I was with knew that I knew this guy. They didn't know him. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden he comes up from behind me, and he grabs me and snatches me up. I mean, wrenches my arm behind me. He said, Matt Farrell, we've been looking for you, and he marched me out the door. I mean, just like he was really arresting me. He slammed me into the door to open it. We get outside, and as soon as we get outside, he slams the door behind him. He lets me go. He goes, what's up, brother? I ain't seen you in a while. We stood out there and talked for quite a while. We stood out there for so long, and then finally, he's got to go. So I go back in, and the guys that I were with, they were all just sitting there, like, we don't know what the hell's going on.
And we're not going to go help him either.
I said, man,
we're going to go see what
y'all are some damn great friends.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't even come to see if I was okay. They were like, man, he acted like he was taking you home. Like you was gone. You was going to the big house. That was a funny night there.
Sidewinders provided a lot of entertainment for people.
Yeah. Have you ever been to other strip clubs?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable?
I'm pretty comfortable in there, you know.
Yeah. I think I would be comfortable in, like, when I was 18, like, I lived at the Dragon. But I lived at the Dragon to shoot pool.
Really?
I really did.
Really? This is
because
like...
I've always had the opinion of, none of these girls in here are going home with me. Mm-hmm. So I really don't care. And I've seen boobs.
Do you remember the one from the Dragon that wore this sparkly, sequiny red, like... She had, like...
Probably
she
most
looked like
of them did
80s,
that.
No, it was like an 80s prom dress. And she had, like, big 80s hair and, like, blue eyeshadow. And she just looked like some, like, just prom queen that had completely just been gone through. What? You don't remember her? It's the only memory I have of that place.
You drank too much. But yeah, I used to go to the Dragon just to shoot pool because it was full of GIs. So you go in there, I mean, I could go in there and make a couple $100 a night.
Is it still open?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should we do our next podcast from there?
Oh, boy. I took my wife, we were still pretty young in our marriage, and she said, I'll go to the strip club with you. So we went, and I thought it was going to be funny. Mm-hmm. Like, I was going to be comfortable, and she was going to be uncomfortable, and I could kind of pick on her, through the night. As soon as we got in there, I immediately realized that every other guy in there knew that all these girls dancing, they're just here working. They're not going home with anybody. But who's this girl over here that doesn't work here? Mm-hmm. Like, so now all eyes are over here. So she sat on the bar stool, and I stood between her legs the entire time we were there. Finished my beer. I was like, all right, let's go. I went in there.
The way you thought it was going.
I went in there to try to kind of give her a hard time, and we got in there, and I was the one that was extremely uncomfortable. Of course, like I said, we were still real young. Like now, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. We can go anywhere. So
dudes don't get uncomfortable about like going into a room to watch a woman get naked and just like everybody get boners together and like nobody's uncomfortable about that?
I'll say this too. I don't know that I ever got a boner in a strip club.
Really?
It's just that it's because of the. I'm sure that there are guys that do. Mm-hmm. But just the setting to me is very, like, it's fun. It's fun to go, but like there's no expectation of anything more than seeing people dance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I never had that vision of grandeur when it came to strippers. It was never really my thing. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed going. I really enjoyed shooting pool in strip clubs because it was an easy place to make money.
I really enjoy reading articles in Playboy.
No, I've never read an article in Playboy in my life. I was into Playboy for the centerfolds. I'll tell you something else that I used to find very interesting about Playboys too.
What?
Is, when it comes to the centerfold girl, it would have like a whole bio for her. Mm-hmm. So it was like, these are her interests, these are her likes, her dislikes, and all these things. I would read those. You would? Yeah, because to me, I was learning like what are girls into? Mm-hmm. What do girls like? Because it was personal. It wasn't like, oh, she likes doggy style and she likes having her hair pulled. No, it was like, she enjoys pizza. She likes going to arcades. She likes doing, like, these are things that she actually liked. So I would read those things and go, man, I'm learning about women right now. Mm-hmm.
So how old were you?
I got the inside scoop here. I don't know. I probably started, I had an uncle that.
A creepy uncle?
No. Like, nobody would have known. Mm-hmm. He had a subscription to Playboy, and when I learned, like, he had his own, because he had 5 daughters. Mm-hmm. He had his own section of the house.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine one guy sharing a bathroom with 5 teenage girls and a wife? No. So he had his own section of the house, basically. So he had his own bathroom and everything. In the top of the closet in his bathroom, there were just stacks.
A Playboy?
And it was just subscription. I mean, and the majority of them still in the wrappers.
Now, did you find
he just collected them
on your own, or was he like, hey, let me share this with you?
No. I found them on my own.
Okay.
I found them on my own. We used to go over there. Both him and my aunt wound up working nights, and they didn't want the daughters being home alone all night. Mm-hmm. So my mom would go and stay with them, and sometimes I would go with my mom. And they were like, hey, you can have your uncle's room, since that's the guy section of the house. So I had that whole section of the house to myself. So I explored and snooped through my uncle's shit, and I found this stack of Play. So every weekend I think there were 2 days a week that they both had to work the same schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 days a week I was with a different playmate every week. You know?
Oh, look at you.
I was 11.
To 11? Did you ever tell him? Did you ever say, hey, I found those stacks of Playboys?
No, but I think he knew, because at 11 you don't think put them back in the same order that you took them down.
No.
Because like I said, there were people who collected Playboys that are, Playboy collections are worth a lot of money.
So what did he do with his collection?
I don't. He wound up passing, so I don't know that.
You didn't ask for him in the will? No. You were like, hey,
no,
get this when he dies.
I know y'all are all talking about this other stuff. Can I get the titty mags? No. Okay, so to that uncle, I was like, because like I said, he had 5 daughters. I was like the son that they didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was really, really close with them. And I'll tell you, the last joke that he was a very quiet guy. He was not a very outgoing person. He had a very dry sense of humor.
That is the typical Playboy
but he was
subscriber.
He was hilarious.
Was he?
He was. And here's the last prank he ever pulled on me. We would go, he and my aunt used to go on cruises all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go on a cruise, and it's my wife and I and our kids, and we take my mom and dad and my aunt and one of her daughters and two of her grandkids go. So we all big group. He had already passed.
Mm-hmm.
But they were real big cruise goers, so they knew all the spots and stuff. So we got to Cozumel, and she said, I don't want to get off here. This was the first time she'd ever gone anywhere since he'd passed. She said, I don't want to get off here. I don't want to deal with these memories today. Mm-hmm. I said, I got you. She said, and she had his ashes broke down in a little deal. She was dumping ashes in different places as she would go. She says, will you take this and dump it on the beach in the ocean for me? I said, you bet. And their grandson wanted to go with me. So we go, and I find this pretty cool spot on this little pier, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and I'm kind of like, hey bud, like I know this is kind of sad, but at the same time, think about it in a good way. We're putting him in one of the places that he loved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's awesome. He was pretty cool about it. He was pretty young at the time. And I said, are you ready? And he goes, yeah. So I opened that deal up, and I went to dump it, and just then a gust of wind came, and that ash hit me in the face and in the mouth, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. I was spitting all over the place. I was just having this emotional, touching conversation with my cousin's kid, and then that happened, and it immediately turned into a comedy. It was ridiculous, and as soon as everything's done, I think I've got it all wiped off my face, and I stopped for a second, and I was like, that was hilarious.
Did you tell your aunt?
I absolutely did, and she was very emotional going through all of this,
mm-hmm.
and I told her about that, and that's one of the hardest I've ever seen her laugh. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that to you. And it's still kind of a thing that she and I have. So, you remember the last joke your uncle played on you? I was like, yeah. It took me a while to get that taste out of my mouth. Funny. Anyway,
I haven't spilt my water yet.
I know. Yeah, get you to stick to water.
I know.
Of course, you still need to finish that.
I do need to finish it.
There you go.
I spilt
It's only half of a can now, so.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, let's.
It's a little warm now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just drink fast. It'll
drink
go.
Fast.
Yeah. There she goes. Chug. Can you chug?
I do not want to chug beer tonight. Did you see me just spill that all over the place earlier?
No. I'm not suggesting that you do it right now. I'm just saying, can you? I don't have that. I can't chug.
No.
I don't have the ability to just open up and pour shit down.
No.
I don't do that.
No.
I can't shotgun. People are always poking a hole in it, cracking the top. I would just make a mess. This shit would just go, probably shoot out my nose.
I can't even drink normal, as we witnessed earlier.
Well, you just can't hold a can.
Can't hold a can. I'm
That's
not
your
used
problem.
to it.
You have paralysis in your hand
No,
or
I have
something.
can hands.
Yeah. I mean, they're skinny cans.
They are. These are feminine too. You drink
Don't
these
go to
often?
talking shit. I drink.
This is like the Virginia Slims of beers. And I spilt it everywhere.
I drink them because they're low fat.
Is that why
I'm
people
trying to watch
drink
my
these?
figure.
I have never figured out why people drink Michelob Ultra. Superior light beer.
Yeah. I don't know what makes
Why
it
do
superior.
people drink Keystone Light? And why do people drink Natural Light?
I'll drink Keystone Light before I'll drink Coors Light.
But they're the same thing, aren't they?
No.
I thought
I
they were
don't
the
know.
same thing.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's just in my head. I don't know. Coors Original is my favorite beer. I
Mine
love
too.
the flavor
if
of
I'm
Coors
gonna
Original.
drink, that is my favorite.
But I can only drink a few of them now. Like, I just get full.
Yeah, they're really filling.
That's my deal. And so a couple of years ago, we go for a New Year's Eve to some friend's house, and he's a big Bud Light guy. And I was like, it's all right. I'll drink some Bud Light with him. By 10 o'clock that night, I was like, dude, like, I'm so full, my stomach hurts. Like, I felt, you ever get full and you feel like you're, I'm like, I'm full to here.
Yeah.
Like, I went outside and made myself puke, and it was just all foam.
Oh.
And then I was
Oh my
like,
God.
okay, now I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get the beer that I usually drink, which is these. I can drink these all night long and never get full.
I always wondered why people drink these.
It really is. That's why I switched.
I'm not a Michelob Ultra
Is-
person, to be honest with
Because
you.
they don't fill me up. They don't make me uncomfortable. So, anyway, all right. You got anything else you need to talk about? You got anything else we need to discuss?
I don't know. I think I got it all out of my system.
Get it all out of your
Talked
system?
about relationships, narcissists, country music.
We did. I feel like we touched on some legit conversations, some
We
legit
did.
subjects.
We did.
And then we just kind of had fun and bullshitted about different stuff. But good episode. Episode 4 is shaping up.
It is. And then I got to spill my beer on camera in front of everybody.
You know,
That was super fun.
some people need help looking like an ass.
I don't.
You don't even need no help.
I don't need any
I
help.
can just sit over here and wait for you to do it on your own.
You know who I am? And this is sad. Like, I'm Kramer. Like, in real life. And this is probably why my dating life doesn't go very far. I am Kramer. Every once in a
I want to
while.
see video of that. I want to see video of you meeting the guy at the restaurant and you come in and
Tripping over. Yeah. No, it has
do that
happened.
shake thing that he does.
I am not even lying. It has happened
That would be
before.
so funny.
I
How
felt,
crazy would a guy look at you? Like if you just came walking in and like you sit down at the table and go, "Oh man, I just
Listen.
flew into town. My arms are tired."
I fell one time, okay?
On a date?
On a date. Twice on a date, right? 2 different people. I'm getting in this guy's truck and I'm talking to him. And maybe we had a little bit to drink. Maybe not. It doesn't matter if I drink because I am just
Yeah,
this
so
way.
you don't require alcohol.
I don't require alcohol. So I'm talking to him and I step down and I have high heels on and my foot gets caught in between that little what's that step up? What's that called?
Running board?
The running board. It just gets caught, and I'm like trying to like gracefully do it because at this point I realize I'm going down and there's nothing I can do about it. So I keep talking to him.
I'm going down.
And I'm just going down real slow, just continuing our conversation. And he's sitting there and he's like, what's going on there? And then all of a sudden I was gone, and I was like, can you help me?
That's hilarious.
Then one time, I'd been on quite a few dates with this guy, and we liked each other, and we thought we would stop at Brahms and get an ice cream, and we're sitting there outside on the bench, right?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there talking to him, eating my ice cream, and all of a sudden, I fall over mid-conversation, hit my head on the bench next to me. I got a concussion that evening.
Were you drunk?
I was not drunk. Hit my head pretty hard, though.
You did this sober.
I did this sober. I do a lot of stupid things sober.
Oh boy.
So maybe if I drink, it evens things out, and I will do smart things, possibly.
It's a good theory. Stick with
good
that.
theory.
See how that works out. Boy. Well,
You finish your Virginia Slims of beers over there?
I got more. I'm not done. So, guys, we'll go ahead and end our live. I want to thank you guys who were watching. Today we tried something new. We recorded also a Facebook Live at the same time that we're recording this. So the actual podcast will be uploaded later. The people who tuned in and watched us on Facebook Live got to see it today. So that's one good thing about following us on Facebook.
Did you get to see accidents live?
That's right. That's right. Everybody will know now that they can start making fun of you.
Yeah.
You know, whereas everybody else, they've got to wait until the podcast gets uploaded.
Yeah.
Because we're definitely not cutting that out.
We're not? Come on.
No. It depends. If I stay up for a while, I can probably go ahead and get it edited and try to upload it tonight, or at least by tomorrow it'll be uploaded.
Okay, so Facebook Live people, you have a head start in making fun of me.
There you go.
For the rest of the world sees it.
There you go. So, like I said, guys, we appreciate it. Facebook Live folks, thank y'all for tuning in and watching. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to everything on our Facebook page. And if you don't already, make sure you go to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Fat Merrill. Go over there, like, share, and subscribe on that page. So, Facebook Live, thank you guys very much. We appreciate you. Make sure that you share this with all your friends. Now, podcast people, something that they don't get to hear. I really don't have anything to say. Like, I just was thinking about that in my head. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we had something to say afterwards? So, anyway, that does it for the podcast as well.
I can't believe I spilled beer all over the
You want to record the whole thing over again?
No, I don't do that to you.
Anyway, all right, well, had fun?
Yes.
Can't wait for the next episode. Guys, make sure that you leave comments. Let us know what you think about the subjects that we had. If you've got any funny stories that kind of line up with the things we've talked about, we for sure want to hear about them. You can do it here on YouTube, or you can go to our Facebook page, Cheaper Than Therapy, and leave us messages there and comment on things. But please know that we are not starting a porn business, and we are not hiring porn stars.
No. Although my bank account, like, I might be this far from doing it, but yeah.
I said, have you seen that deal that says Pornhub pays $30,000 for homemade videos? So if you see me on Pornhub, mind your damn business.
Is that true?
I don't know if it's true or not. That might be something we research. And if so, we'll let you know if we're hiring.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I am Matt Farrell.
And I'm Kristen Rochelle. Almost forgot my name.
This has been episode 4 of Cheaper Than Therapy. Thank you guys very much.